Thank you. Good evening from Ghana. I am Clement Ayarabila Lee, presenting on the topic Basic Philosophy of Religious Values in Mathematics. The concept of religion did not originally refer to social and cultural type, but it was later on coined because the human being now tried to look at the consciousness of the human endeavor. And these were enshrined in the taboos, the promises, the cursings, and the transgressions, the theme of this particular congress. In many cultures, there was a particular recognition that people worship different gods with commitments that were incompatible with each other. And despite every culture having its religion, the so-called world religions were still dominating. You can talk about Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and so on. But this domination really did not impact on the way we perceive numbers. For example, the Rata numbers consider there is no conflict between religion and science at all. It is we people who just want to become obsessed with promoting our creed. We just want to promote our own religion, our own culture, and impose it onto others. And that has also negatively impacted the way we perceive numbers to be. All religions use these numbers in the same way. And that's why in this particular project, the people were conceived in this particular direction to separate the numbers according to their religions. In Ghana here, we are talking about three main religions: the African religion, the Christianity, and then the Islam. In this methodology, the design was the narrative phenomenology, and this particular aspect will help the researcher to be able to take live record of what the students have said. And in doing so, we just try to see as many as of them that we selected will come out with the same number of tunes. And that's why we have this called saturation. So let's look at the results from these two research persons. One was to explore the philosophy of three religions' values. The second one was to examine the people's life experiences in these values. So for some of the African traditional religions, the values as can be seen, you look at the symbols, Jinyame standing for 0, Sankofa 1, Danyame 3, Adinkra 4, and so on. If you look at the meaning of 0, it expresses the omnipotence, that God has no beginning and no end. The meaning of 1 signifies learning from the past. 3, 2 signifies strength, and 3 signifies authority, leadership, and charisma. So the value of this number determines how people exist and then talk about their own. Then you come to the Christian values. In fact, the same pattern follows. 1 denotes unity in Christianity, 2 is for comparison, 3 for divine fullness, 4 for creation of the earth. You can talk about the winter, spring, summer, and so on. 4 elements: air, water, fire, and earth. 4 divisions of the day: morning, noon, evening, and night, and many others. You come to talk about 5 in Christianity, it is the great number. When it comes to Islam, the number 1 is also important. It stands for the Shahada, and Shahada means the belief that there is no God apart from Allah. The number 3 is also significant in many acts as they have it in their practice. The number 4 is also so significant in many things, especially 4 days from 10 to 14 of the Dhul Hijjah, 4 caliphs, and then 4 archangels. The number 8 is also their number. That symbolizes that every angel carries the throne of Allah in Jannah. So they are also present them in that particular way. Then if you come to traditional religion representation of numbers, As we now want to see what the students in group 1, for example, use the number 4 and said it is stability and strength. Before you realize that you are very, very strong, you must count something up to 3, and immediately you get to 4 and there's no change. Then you say it is stabilized. Then the number 2, 8 represent wealth and fertility, 10 completion and perfection, 9 for naming ceremonies and many others, and 3 for unity, as we have seen with the other religions. Then you come to their practices and applications. Let's look at the applications of numbers in the traditional religion. The group 2, for example, says numbers are used for divinations. And what are divinations? They are practices to provide guidance and insight in our various aspects of life. They are also for our rituals and offerings. Before we make any ritual, we determine what particular number depending on the value of the ritual. Our calendar and festivals, we use numbers. They will have the smaller festivals and then the bigger festivals. As soon as you see a particular number designed for the invitation, you know the kind of festivals you are supposed to attend. The sacred places, the smaller gods up to the bigger gods, have all been numbered so that when you are going to a particular sacrifice, you know the kind of image to carry there. Then when it comes to the application, they have so many. They assign these numbers on days of the week. So there are certain days they go to work, certain days they won't go to work. They do also numbering in the counting of their gods, even order them. When you see the way they arrange them, the numbers tell. Then they also use to determine the significance of the rituals. And lastly, they use the number to stand for the order in which they must worship God whenever they assemble. Let's look at Christianity and Islam in common. As seen in the group, the number 1 was one that all of them expressed, that it stands for the oneness of God and his uniqueness. The number 2 signifies witness and testimony. Then 3 was associated with perfection. When you get the 3, you know that everything is complete. The number 4 stands for creation. You can talk about the creation of the earth, fire, air, and water. Then the number 10 stands for grace and God's favor. As soon as you get to 10, you know that your life is complete, and you start thanking God for making such a complete venture for you. Then in their practices, they are not so much different from the African traditional religious practices. For example, the number 5 in Islam stands for their daily prayers. They have to pray 5 times with God's guidance. The number 99 in Islam stands for there are not 9 names or attributes of God. And this ordering was also seen in the Christian way. So by the time you get to 99, you know that you've gotten to the highest number before 100. Then in their application tool, they use for counting the days, for calculating the number of disciples in their various religions. They use the number to interpret their text, whether in the Bible or in the Quran. They also do the same thing to show the genealogy from the prophet to the present. So far you can see that the commonest numbers are 1, 3, 4, and 5. But 3 was more outstanding because 3 stood for so many things. For example, you will see that 3 was used in folk tales. 3 wise men, 3 girls, 3 little pigs, 3 bears, 3 billy goats, and so on. In Babylon time, the number 3 were Anu, Bel, and Era, representing heaven, earth, and the abyss. In Egypt, sun god, for example, represented 3. You have the Kipre, the Re, and the Atum. The Pluto saw 3 being symbol of the triangle. In German, the folklore, 3 black animals were often sacrificed when attempting to capture up demons and the 3 colored cats as protective spirits. In Hindu Arabic, 3 is the dimension of the smallest magic number, where when you add every row, column, and diagonal, you must get the sum as 15. So upon further observation, we realize that every human being has numbers, and these numbers are linked to the religion of the people. Culture is essential to every religion, and every religion must be positioned in its cultural realm. Irrespective of the beliefs, there are no differences in the numbers. Therefore, the philosophy of religious beliefs must anchor on mathematics representation, practices, and applications. And therefore, I end this presentation. Thank you.